Sometimes when I start filming, I laugh. I don't have a tripod, I'm broke. Anyways, tripod. Try. But, so what ideas do I have today? Because that's essentially the main crux of what? Of me filming. And always this thing when I pause, it's like, can I speak without pausing? Well, technically I can, sure, but I think it makes it more interesting if I think about what I'm saying as opposed to just rapid firing. Because I'm not in an argument, I'm not in a debate, so my points don't necessarily have to be concise, etc., etc., etc. But I guess the the point, or what I want to talk about today, is how I'm gonna put on 50 pounds of muscle. I'm just getting off 50 pounds, but then how I'm gonna approach resistance training from here on out. So, like, I think what inspires this idea is Mike Mincer. Why is everyone fanboying over Mike Mincer? Well, it's because he had a quite simplistic approach to training. I think it resonates with a lot of people who don't necessarily want to overcomplicate their lives. And that if you tell a person they only have to train twice a week intensely, well, perhaps they might get turned on by that idea, as opposed to telling them to do 15 different exercises, 5 for each different body part. 5 exercise for chest, triceps, 5 exercise for back and biceps, 5 exercise for legs, and a whole lot of sets. Now you could make the argument that you could do one set of each exercise going to failure. Third, I don't know. Always go on these tangents. The main point here is I'm gonna take a more simplistic approach where you practically do like 2 exercises, superset them with each other, and I guess the main point here is to train intensely in that you wanna it's to stimulate the muscles. Stimulate in what sense? Stimulate in the sense of like, well, when you're training, the only thing that's really necessary is intensity, and how you achieve that does not matter as long as you trained intensely. Now, that that kind of leaves a lot up to like preference, and that your exercise selection doesn't matter as long as you train this targeted muscle intensely. In my case, I'm most likely doing dips and push-ups. Why do I prefer dips and push-ups? I'm kind of bored talking about this shit. Like, I'm bored. It's like, it's not entertaining in any sort of way. It's like, talking about training is so boring, and I guess it's just because of, it's common sense. It's like, there's not much to say. After I say train intensely, what else is there to say? Well, I could try explaining intensity. How would I explain intensity? Because it could be viewed as a relative term, as in, like, if you do 10 push ups and it's quite easy, switching to 20 is much more difficult. Does that mean you're training intensely? Well, then I could emphasize and say you could train very intensely. I guess the whole idea is just you want to struggle. Yeah, you want to struggle, and the more you struggle, the more muscle you build. There's a correlation in that sense. The more you struggle, the more stimulus you create. So I could struggle, and maybe I'm struggling 50%, maybe it's 50% harder than what I'm used to. Like, or 50% struggle, whatever, I'm not going to get too caught in the terminology. And then that technically would stimulate growth, but my muscles would recover quicker. No, it would stimulate growth, but then it would only stimulate 50% growth, etc., etc., etc. Whereas if I struggle 100%, I would stimulate 100% growth potential, etc., etc. Now, you could make the argument that the less stimulus you use, the more frequently you could train, and that would in turn make you gain muscle. But the more stimulus you use, the less you can train, etc., etc. But like I said, the shit's kind of uninteresting to me. It's like common sense. So, yeah, who knows? I might end it there. Do I train for vanity? That's an interesting question. The philosophical side of things always gets so interesting because it's nuanced and detailed. Ooh, do I train for vanity or. Well, yeah, to an extent. To an extent. But then what is the primary reason for training? Well, for me personally, I like the what is it called? The benefits, the short-term benefits. When you train, you get the short-term benefits of like endorphins are released, yeah, etc., etc., etc. Yep, I'm fucking bored. I don't know. I have mental block. I think I'm not in the best state of mind. Too many doubts are creeping in. They're like, why are you making videos? Don't you feel embarrassed? Don't you feel embarrassed documenting your life? Or your thoughts, not my life. But self-awareness is a scam. Anyways, I wonder how I look because I know I'm a bit bloated.